Good morning. We want to talk to you today about your plants because we think this is a good analogy that we can use that maybe will help you a little bit in understanding your own lives and your own creative potential. You see, every year at the end of the season, when the plants are done blooming or the shrubs are done growing, you trim them off, you cut them back, you get rid of all the debris, all the dead stuff that has done its job, and you clean it up and you get it ready for next season, you see. And some of you that are really smart will take those cuttings and you will keep them and you will use them as fertilizer, compost. And then you will apply them to the beds of your flowers and use the energy that is left over from them to enhance the plant the next season, you see. We want you to look at your human life the same way. We want you to look at this example, really, and employ it in your own life, you see. We want you to trim off every year, take a little stock in how the year's gone, and cut off all the debris, all the dead stuff that's not going to serve you. Chop it up in little pieces in your mind and sprinkle it around your feet and let it go down into the roots, because you are rooted, whether you know it or not, to this earth plane that you are on. And use this as fertilizer. Keep the wisdom and the knowledge that you have accumulated by the life experiences you've had and suck the rest of the juice out of them and get rid of all the dead stuff that you no longer need or want to experience. Now, some of you, we would tell you, don't take very good care of your gardens. You leave the old growth on there. What happens after a year and 2 years or 3 years if you don't trim that thing back? Pretty soon, all of the power that could be in the roots is stuck up in the old dead limbs. And you're getting nothing in the form of blooms. You're getting nothing in the energy of the plant itself, you see. Because it's all stuck in the old growth. That's how we want you to look at your experiences. We don't want you to look at them as good and bad. We know you're going to do it anyway, but we're going to tell you, try not to do it. And then at the end of the year, just cut those experiences off and decide that whatever provided you with what you want are the nutrients that you're going to leave in the roots and grow something nicer for yourself next year, you see. Why would you leave the dead debris or carry the dead debris of all the things that have passed with you and expect that you're going to grow anything that you're going to be happy with? We are challenging you all right now to pick a plant in your yard, any plant that you love. Don't trim it this year. Leave it grow and see what kind of result you get next year from it. And if you really want to use the experience further, leave it for a couple of years. And we're going to tell you pretty soon it's going to dry and frizzle out. And this is what you're doing to your human apparatus as you hang on to your experiences. You have to let go. You have to trim these off. And you have to know that everything you are experiencing is needed. Everything that is being expressed is for the plant. It's for the human, you see, for the growth of the human. And if you will just let go of those experiences and use the fertilizer, the knowledge, the wisdom that you have gained by the experiences that you are deeming as positive and negative, you're going to produce a good plant. Every year, that plant's going to get stronger. It's going to get better. It's going to get bigger. Did you ever cut back a vine? Robin's done it. She had one that was looking very dead and brown. It had not been trimmed in a long while. And she thought, what's to lose here? The thing is brown and scraggly looking. I'm just going to cut it off. Maybe it won't come back. I don't really care. She cut it off. And to her amazement, the next year, this thing grew twice its size. It was so virile, so strong, so green, so happy. And this is what you can do. We want you to physically think about trimming off or getting rid of things that you're hanging on to that don't feel good. Because this isn't adding anything to the power in the roots of you, you see. You're not all that different than a plant. And biologically, if you looked at it, there are many hormones and things that are in plants that are identical to a human. So why would you think you're any different? Why would you think you can leave the old growth sucking up all the energy and not trimming it off and grow into something that you would admire? You have to learn to let go. You have to know that experiences are needed. You have to trust that everything that is coming to you There's no mistake in it. There's nothing bad in it. And if you can start to trim off these things that you're not liking and cut them up into little bits and drop them around your feet, they're going to fuel you. That's what they're there for. They are fuel. They're going to fuel that human. And it's going to rise in its potential. But if you keep leaving that debris on, if you keep carrying that with you from 1 year to the next, 1 lifetime to the next, you're not going to be happy with the buds come spring. See? We really want you to get this. We want you to look at these plants differently. We want you to go out in your yard and see what's happening. This is an example to you of life. It's beautiful. And then it begins again. It's new. You see? But it needs to be cared for. It needs to be pruned. The dead stuff has to be let go of in order for the new stuff to fill back in. We hope that you really understand what it is we are trying to transmit to you today. And we think any of you that are gardeners will get this in a quick hurry, because Robin actually did this. She actually left a plant go that she had not trimmed back. It had frozen out on her a couple of times. She thought, well, maybe I will leave it without trimming it. Didn't go so well. She should have covered it. Perhaps that would have been of more benefit to her, you see. But leaving old growth is not going to produce any new growth. We promise you. Don't be afraid to cut it off aggressively. Get rid of all of those experiences that you're hanging on to that are making you feel heavy, that you're not liking the feel of. And know that this is energy, all energy. And it is fueling you. And drop it around your feet. Imagine it being laying at your feet. Take every one of these experiences that have been haunting you and sprinkle them around your feet and look down at them and say, fertilize me. Make me grow. Because that's why you had them to begin with. We know that many of you are carrying old experiences, whether it is shame, whether it is guilt in how you have done your life experiences, in how you have saved money or lost money, everything that you have tallied up as a good or bad life experience. You're hanging on to it. Let it go. Why would you hang on to it? When you start thinking about something that's happened in your past that you have no control over, we want you to think about those plants outside and decide for yourself right here and now, would I leave all my overgrowth on my plants and not trim it off? Or would I cut it off and expect something really good's going to happen in the spring? That's how it works. Trim off the old stuff and watch the new stuff come in. Good day.